Good afternoon. Welcome to the Now South Florida. As we mentioned, a press conference underway in Martin County on the disappearance of Tricia Todd. Let's listen in to Sheriff William Snyder.
They understand what's going on. Clearly, we cannot talk about every single thing that's going on. We've done our best to release enough information so that there should not be misunderstandings. The worst thing we think would be for rumors and for speculation that is not at all based on fact. So here's what we have since we met earlier this morning. There are actually no additional significant pieces of information to report. We have discovered small remnants of body tissue from the burial site, and we have several items of interest in burn sites not too far away. In other words, some type of what would look like a campfire. The cadaver dogs have hit on that, and so we will be moving to those sites very shortly. The Florida Gulf Coast University forensic personnel that have been with us all day continue to painstakingly search the area in an ever-widening circumference away from the burial site. So what we had to do was eliminate the possibility that we had missed anything in that burial site, and we are now moving in ever-increasing circles away from that, looking for any evidence that might have dropped or anything else that may not have been contained in that site. The medical examiner has concluded his exam of the remains. At this time, he cannot conclusively say that those are the remains of Tricia Todd. Overwhelming likelihood, based on all the circumstances, it is in fact who it is. But until he does a DNA, we will not be able to conclusively say that it is her. I am convinced it is her. And the DNA analysis, I know you will ask me, will probably take several weeks. So we do hope that within a few weeks we'll have a positive ID. And how about if I stop then and we'll start over here to the left, and I'll answer any questions that you have.
Today the assistant state's attorney said that Williams was now being very cold and calculated when he was talking. I know earlier in the week your detectives spent plenty of time with him. Can you talk about that shift in behavior?
Janet's question was somewhat of a statement that when we first encountered him in North Carolina and then here, that he had a certain demeanor, apparently more cooperative, more easygoing, and then it shifted to what the assistant state attorney said today was a rather cold and flat, a cold demeanor. I've witnessed that myself. I've seen both sides of his personality. One, more engaging, more willing to try to clearly talk his way out of what was going on, and once the snare was set and there was no getting out, he flipped and has been as cold as ice ever since.
What's the significance of the campsites? You talked about our campfires. What's the significance of that?
Well, our speculation was that based on the amount of blood that would have occurred during the disposition of the remains, that there was probably blood contaminant on his clothing, and based on some of his methodology, we were very suspicious that he would have left here with blood on him. So what we think we have is his clothing or other articles of evidence that have been burned out here. It's a campfire-like site. The cadaver dogs gave strong alerts on them, and so that's our next move now will be to go into those, and there's several of those, and see if there's any evidence. You know, it's just like any old campsite that you would see. You can't tell what's under the embers until you start moving them back.
How difficult is it because so much time has passed?
The question is, how difficult is it because of the time passed? Yeah, time has not been our friend in any of this. There's been tremendous rain out here. I think those campsites are close enough to water that there was probably some water running through there. So I would say the likelihood is that we don't find anything of significance, but we can't take anything for granted, and we will be going through it really inch by inch.
Just to reiterate, other than the remains that you discovered last night, have there been any more remains found today?
You know, I know that we're live streaming and that people at home are watching this, and I don't want to be graphic for graphic's sake, but your question is, did we find any more human remains? And the answer is yes. We found a small amount of body tissue, and that's all. No bone fragments. None of the significant missing parts were located today.
And my next question is, you say you're continuing to have to expand your circumference of the search area, how much area are we talking at this point?
Well, I would say that right now, at this point, and I just left the detectives going through, we're probably 300 yards away. Now, I guess it would be important at this point to say that if in fact we don't have all of Tricia's remains, which we do not think we have, nor does our medical examiner think we have, nor does the doctor at the forensic anthropologist from Florida Gulf Coast University think we have, then there is the possibility that there are remains somewhere other than this site. And this is where he's taken us. He's given us no hint that it was anywhere else. But we cannot rule out the possibility that there is another site. And we still have to make ourselves comfortable with the fact that the whole body wasn't in there. We recovered enough that it seems to us, and it seems to the medical experts, that the acid in there should not have completely obliterated everything that we don't have. So this is not an exact science. We are reaching out to homicide units throughout Florida that have had experience with disposing bodies with acid, and we'll see what we get.
Sheriff, the ME, were they able to determine any possible cause of death?
The question is, could the ME determine possible cause of death? And the answer is no.
Sheriff, why do you think she was killed with a chainsaw, not with a knife or?
Greg's question is, why do I think she was killed with a chainsaw?
Yeah, chopped up with, cut up with a chainsaw.
Because the manner in which the bones present themselves. And I want to be careful. I don't want to be too graphic, but it does appear to us, and that it was done with some type of chainsaw.
How many burn sites are we talking about?
Question is, how many burn sites are we talking about? There's several back there. Some of those are probably legitimate campsites. People do use the area for camping, but the dog's only hit on at least one that I'm sure of, and if he hit on another one, I'm not sure.
Sheriff, is there a chance he took a token with him?
Jan's question is there a chance he took a token with him? I don't believe that would be the case. There was a complete absence of blood or anything of any evidentiary value in her vehicle, which we know he used to transport the body. It's very difficult to move anything with blood around without transfer evidence. There was an absence of that. So I think not. I think everything is either was here or here and somewhere else, but certainly not in his car.
How much manpower do you have out there? How many departments do you have out here helping you with this search?
The question is, how much manpower do we have out here and how many departments? We have, of course, the Martin County Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigations Division, and almost all of the personnel there. I have my entire community-oriented policing unit out here. We have a fairly large contingent of FWC, Freshwater Commission, people out here at the state land there helping in the search. And we have the Martin County Fire Department is out here. They have done a Herculean task. I think we tweeted a picture of them last night in their suits down in there doing really what at that time was the most dangerous of all jobs. And I want to publicly thank the Martin County Fire Rescue for their efforts and their assistance. And they're still here.
When you say partial remains, and you say a second site, do you believe that second site is in the area you're looking for? It could be anywhere on this preserve, or even maybe back where you were already searching. Do you have any indication of that?
Yeah, the question is, if we don't think all the remains were in this site, do we think they were in sites somewhere close or somewhere else entirely? I don't know. We only know what he told us. Unequivocally, that is where the body is. And we do not think that is the case. I want to reiterate, we are still reaching out and trying to understand how much damage the acid would do, how much of the missing body parts and bones should be completely gone. But nobody yet, none of the experts in this field, and I'm not one, feel comfortable that we have the entire body.
How long will you be out here tonight, Sheriff?
Question, how long we'll be out here? We'll stay until dark. And we'll see what we have. I think right now we're going to be able to eliminate everything within the general vicinity. You've seen our ATVs up and down all day. So you can look here. You see this kind of area. We've gone through every bit of this in this park. We haven't found anything else. So we may come to a point tonight when we feel comfortable. We've done everything we can to look for any additional sites. We still have the burn pits we want to go through. We still have some spots in the high grass that the dogs have alerted on. And so we may be able to finish today or sometime before tomorrow afternoon.
You plan on talking to him again, maybe?
The question is, do we plan on talking to him again? I cannot talk to him. The only way he can communicate is through his attorney to the state attorney's office. Law enforcement is completely cut off from him. All we are now is his custodians. He's in our jail. He's in an isolated suicide watch position, and we would never have a conversation with him now. He has attorney-client privilege.
Sheriff, I know this has been tiring for your men and women, but one of the things that's been rare is the family here for every update, every detail uncovered. I know they're not talking to the media. Can you speak to their, I mean, the courage it takes really to have to witness all of this?
The question is that you've noticed that the family has been here for every briefing, and could I speak to the courage? I think I said this morning, the way I try to keep my focus is to put myself in the family's position and do what I would want someone to do if it was my daughter. I don't know that I would have had the courage to be out here. I don't know that I would have had the courage to listen to these briefings. I'm trying to be as careful as I can. I know Mr. Todd is standing right here. His sons were with him earlier, but he's wanted to hear it, and I respect and admire him for that, and I appreciate his support.
Thank you.
Sheriff, when it comes to the acid, I know you had a lot of surveillance video of him on the next day. Do you have any indication of him buying the acid, where he would have gotten it, where it's from, what kind of acid it is?
The question is, what kind of acid is it? We had videos of him coming here, and do I have any idea where he might have gotten the acid? He clearly was not, well, he didn't have acid on the way home. So I think our best working theory is it was pre-positioned out here, which makes the most sense. The holes were probably dug prior to the murder. So, and you heard the Assistant State Attorney this morning saying that if we knew everything that we know now, which we never would have known without the plea deal, we would be looking at a first-degree murder. Okay, I think there is a spokesperson for the family right here.
Thank you, Sheriff. Happy to answer any questions that y'all have. I'm Sean Plymel on behalf of the family.
How is the family right now?
It's a very difficult time, obviously, for the family, but they're relying on their faith in each other to get through this difficult time.
Is there any sort of plans?
Can I get you to lift your sunglasses because we're just seeing a reflection?
Sorry.
Are there any sort of plans, with this heartbreaking discovery of the death, for a memorial service or a vigil or anything like that?
There's not anything definitely said at this time, but there obviously is going to be one, and one that the family is working to make arrangements, but there is nothing definite at this time.
We've had a lot of people say, what can we do? How can we help?
Michelle Rocker, a family friend who has been helping in the volunteer effort the entire time, is going to speak with you in just a minute, and she's going to let you know how you can help. There has been a fund set up for Faith that we're asking people to contribute to if they want to help.
How is Faith?
She's great. She's in a healthy, happy environment with the family, and all things considered, she's doing very well. Thank you. Any other questions? At this time, I'd like to introduce Michelle Rocker, a family friend, and she's going to give you a brief statement, and then she's happy to answer any questions that you have as well.
Can you spell your name for me?
Michelle Rocker, Michelle, last name Rocker, Rocker. I'm obviously shorter than most of the other people you've been talking to.
Hey, just hold that for a second. Thank you.
Go ahead, Michelle.
Okay. As a friend of the Todd family and knowing Tricia from the time she was a little girl, to say that this past month has been difficult is an understatement. However, I've had a front row seat and witnessing a family exemplify the love of Jesus Christ through incredibly difficult circumstances. Their faith has not been shaken. In light of the more recent developments, the number one question that we're getting is the one you just asked. What can we do for the family, and what can we do for faith? We've set up a fund through CrowdRise, and you can go to that link. It's crowdrise.com/for-Tricia, and that's FOR and then TRICIA. I have had the privilege of watching the Martin County community, as well as people all over the U.S., pour out their love and prayers on this family. And personally, I can't think of a better way to continue to show them your love and support than giving to the daughter that Tricia obviously loves so much. So thank you guys.
And she lost both her kids.
Correct.
What is it about her that you miss the most already?
Well, we were both redheads, so, we have that. And I've been really good friends with her mom. And so, I was 12 years older than Tricia, and I was way too cool to hang out with, Tricia when we were little. So, but, yeah, we definitely miss her.
What's your impression of the community's response so far?
I have cried more than once. Back when we were doing the search, I would just mention on the post on our Facebook page, hey, we could use some Gatorades, and in 5 minutes, we'd turn around and a case as high as my head was there with Gatorades. When we asked for printed flyers, we did not pay for one single flyer that went out, and there was close to 10,000, and those were all donated by various businesses and churches. The Facebook messages have just been overwhelming. I have been blown away by this community, and I'm so happy that I live here.
How would you want the community to remember your friend Tricia?
She loved God, and her faith was very important to her. And also her little faith was very important to her. And that's what I think she would want you to remember.
And having to come out and see this crime scene, obviously it's difficult. Can you speak to the strength that the family must have at this point to witness this? The same question I asked the sheriff.
Yeah, I have thought many times, I don't know how they're walking through the path they're walking through other than just witnessing their faith in Christ, holding them up through all of it.
This is for any one of you guys. I guess the family thoughts on Mr. Williams now that they know everything. Anybody want to speak to that?
No, I think what Michelle said is that they're relying on their faith in this situation. And so, I think that what they've been looking for is closure in this situation. They've been leaning on, Pastor Holden and the community and their church to get them through the difficult time. And I think that's what they've been concentrating on most of all.
At some point, though, you have to get angry. You have to be frustrated at the way this is, the lies that have been told.
I think there's certainly a level of frustration. I think we were all here earlier, and Mr. Backetall gave us a pretty good glimpse of that frustration, and I think that's an emotion that they've all been through. But they're looking to work through this process and get to a point of closure, and it's been frustrating that they haven't been able to do that. I mean, we all sat here last night thinking that we were a lot closer to that than we are at this point. And so, yes, of course they're frustrated. And, they reached an agreement yesterday that they thought would bring them final closure in this situation, and it hasn't. But they're going to lean back on their faith, as they always have, to get them through what's clearly a difficult time. And they know that continuing in that belief will get them to where they need to be, and they have faith in that. And so, yes, they're frustrated, and they're ready, as we all are, to get some finality. And we've all been out here for the sheriff's statements, and certainly members of the family have been here, and they're looking for that information that gets them to that place. But they understand, and more than anything, they want to not only thank the community and the outpouring of support, but certainly the sheriff's office, the state attorney's office, and the media for everything that everybody's done to support them through this difficult time.
How this was their son-in-law, is it based on their faith? Do they want us to pray for him, or are they still too angry for that?
I believe that they would like you to pray for everybody. They believe in their faith, and their faith doesn't say don't pray for everybody. You pray for everybody, and that's really what they believe in this time. And while they're frustrated and they've gone through the whole range of emotions, yes, they believe God's grace should be applicable to everyone. Any other questions? All right, we thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
You'll watch.